The rest of the division looking up at the very impressive Atlanta Falcons, 4-1 after their victory yesterday in Denver. Carolina won the toss and deferred, so Tampa Bay will receive the opening kickoff from Graham Gano. We're underway on Monday night. Over the head of Ryan Smith, and the Buccaneers will begin at the 25-yard line, led by the second-year man out of Florida State, Jameis Winston, averaging 44.3 pass attempts per game. That leads the NFL. It's 11 more attempts per game than he finished with a year ago. 8 touchdowns, but 8 interceptions. Only Ryan Fitzpatrick of the Jets, with 10 interceptions, has thrown more. And Jameis knows he has to be better with the football if they're going to turn around the season after this 1-3 start. They're hurting at running back, and the handoff goes to Jaquiz Rogers, who's dumped for a loss immediately by Charles Johnson.
Too much, Jameis Winston. They have no running game, and they continue to have too many negative yardage plays. First down, right up the middle. You're going to see penetration. And Rodgers has no chance to get started. And when you're a young quarterback on the road in 2nd and 13, tough sledding.
They're without Doug Martin, the second leading rusher in the league last year, out for the 3rd game in a row with a hamstring. Lots of running room now for Rodgers. They power to the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Luke Kuechly made the tackle. You'll hear that a lot tonight. Up front, they've had stability on the offensive line. That fivesome has started all 5 games now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And among the backs and receivers, Mike Evans is the favorite target of Jameis Winston. 26 catches through the first 4 games. Again, without Martin, Cecil Shorts, the wide receiver, Luke Stocker, and a backup lineman in Beninock, all the inactives tonight on offense. First down run for Jaquiz Rogers, again yanked down by Luke Kuechly.
That's a good call by head coach Dirk Cutter. They're missing Doug Martin. They're missing Sims. They got to go to Rodgers, and Rodgers is very familiar with Dirk Cutter. He played for him in Atlanta, had 2 50-catch seasons. Nice pickup by general manager Jason Light, reuniting Cutter with Rodgers.
Not only without Martin, but they placed Charles Sims, who took over as their running back, on IR today with a knee injury. So we'll see a lot of the Oregon State Beaver, Jaquiz Rogers, tonight. He's out to the 38-yard line for a gain of 2, tackled by Coney Ely and K'Wan Short. They're part of that front 4 that has underachieved so far this season for Carolina. Kuechly an All-Pro, as is Thomas Davis, and the second-year man Shaq Thompson out of Washington rounds out the linebacking core. A lot of new faces in the secondary. Rookies on the corners, including Zach Sanchez out of Oklahoma, just activated on Friday when they cut Benet Benwickery after his struggles against Julio Jones last Sunday. Rodgers danced ahead. And clearly, coach, they're making an effort to get the running game going tonight.
Oh, they're making an effort to calm their young quarterback down. Winston has gotten into trouble early in games with interceptions. The best way to take the pressure off of Winston is to take it out of his hands by handing it off. Very important that Tampa Bay stays committed to the run, and it's more important for Carolina to prove they can stop it.
5 plays, all rushes by Jaquiz Rogers. 3rd and 3. They give it to Rogers again, and he spurts ahead for another first down out to the 48-yard line, tackled by Coney Ely. Jameis Winston, you mentioned his emotion, and sometimes perhaps it's a negative to start the game. He hasn't thrown a touchdown in the first quarter this year. He's thrown 3 interceptions, 2 last week against Denver. That's the most first quarter interceptions, tied with Blake Bortles, and the only passer rating in the league worse than Winston's in the first quarter is from Blake Bortles. Play fake. First pass attempt of the night for Winston. On target to Alan Cross, the fullback and a tight end. Shaq Thompson made the tackle. 5-yard completion.
Well, you're going to see Jameis come out of the play action fake. His primary receiver's not open, and number 45, Cross, his outlet receiver, is in the flat. That's what Jameis Winston needs to do a better job of, getting off of his primary in rhythm and finding his secondary outlet when necessary.
On the delay, Jaquiz Rogers, and he got blasted. Paul Soliai, a backup in the interior of that Carolina front, made the tackle.
Soliai has been around, was in Atlanta, splits a double team and stuffs Rogers in 3rd down and 6+. This is where defensive coordinator Sean McDermott told us they wanted to rev up their blitz package. They got to help these young corners on the outside. Keep an eye at the bottom of the screen on Worley against Evans.
Worley, a rookie out of West Virginia. 9th play of this opening possession for the Buccaneers. Winston throws a bullet for a first down. Vincent Jackson, the veteran, down near the 30-yard line, chopped down by the safety Kurt Coleman.
And Teddy Williams, who's really been a special teams player, number 21, beaten badly at the line of scrimmage by Vincent Jackson. Jackson, 33 years old, closing in on a top 10 reception mark. What a player he's been. A physical, tough man to deal with and bump and run.
It's his 13th catch of this season at age 33. Some wonder if he's slowing down. The coaches and teammates don't think so. Jaquiz Rogers picks up 6 on first down. This is reminiscent of last year when Tampa Bay ran the ball very well with Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator. They're 5th in the league in rushing last year.
Well, I don't think it's reminiscent against this Carolina front. K'Wan Short, the anchor of this Carolina run defense, Sean, they have not seen the ball run right down their throat to start a game like this in some time.
Now the I formation, they put the tight end Brandon Myers in the backfield as a lead blocker. It's another first down for Jaquiz Rogers. They signed him off the street after week 1 when he was let go by the Chicago Bears.
Watch this right guard, Ali Marpet. We talked about him in the pregame, number 74, second-year player out of Hobart College, second-round draft choice. Important that these Buccaneers do a much better job than they did last week, and I love the fact they got the message from head coach Dirk Cutter.
9 carries already for Jaquiz Rogers. They're taking more than 7 minutes off the clock on the opening possession of the game. Rogers tried to follow Myers, cut it inside, got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Luke Kuechly with some penetration. A.J. Klein also in behind the line of scrimmage.
And the first quarter is halfway gone. Luke Kuechly, you see number 59 on the left side of your screen. Sees the cutback the entire way. Very instinctive. Outstanding football player. Second down along 10.
The shovel pass to Jaquiz Rogers, and he got belted by Charles Johnson.
There's Charles Johnson. He's seen that shovel pass too many times. Right side of your screen, he is going to punish Jaquiz Rogers. I think Rogers would rather have another play called than this one. Good to see the veteran out of Georgia back in the lineup. He struggled the last couple years with injuries.
They're 3 out of 3 on this impressive drive on third down. This is the longest distance to go on third down. 3rd and 10. Winston has a man open. It's off the hands of Mike Evans and incomplete. Jameis threw him a little bit of a floater. Darrell Worley had the coverage, and the field goal unit comes on for Tampa Bay.
Evans has to make this catch. It's an outside breaking route, hit him right in his hands. Evans, as productive as he is, over 1,000 yards the last 2 seasons, has had a problem with drops. This will be interesting.
A lot of pressure on the rookie Roberto Aguayo. They used a 2nd-round pick to draft the kicker. and a very good one out of Florida State. He's the most accurate kicker in the history of NCAA football, but he had problems in the preseason. They've continued into the regular season. He's 1 out of 3 in field goal tries, and that's right down the middle from 35 yards. Only 6:28 left in this first quarter. 3-0 Bucs. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Keep on fueling your football fandom. By GMC, we are professional grade. And by Bridgestone, your journey, our passion. The Panthers slogan, keep pounding, adopted to honor the late, great Sam Mills. Spoke those inspirational words to the team as he was battling cancer. He succumbed to cancer in 2005. Statue of Sam Mills outside Bank of America Stadium. His message still very much alive. The Panthers have an initiative to raise money for cancer research. Patient support program. Someone comes out to pound the drum before every game. Jan Kuhn battling breast cancer, still running 5K races. Did a great job with that before the game. Roberto Aguayo kicks off. And Ted Ginn takes the knee almost out of the back of the end zone. We'll get our first look of the night. Derek Anderson in the Carolina offense right after this. Starting at quarterback tonight for the Carolina Panthers, Derek Anderson in his 6th year with Carolina. This is just his 3rd start. The previous 2 starts both against Tampa Bay in 2014. Carolina won both. He completed 2/3 of his passes, did not throw an interception. They believe he's one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. Plenty of experience at age 33. His first play as the starter this year, a handoff to Cameron Artis-Payne, and he gets about 8, so a good start for the Panthers.
You're going to see a much more conventional offense. He's a drop back passer. You're not going to see the zone read, the direct players, very confident in him.
He came in the 4th quarter of their loss last week in Atlanta and played very well. Artis-Payne, the featured running back tonight, is once again there without their leading rusher, Jonathan Stewart, sidelined with a hamstring. He's short of the first down, 3rd down and a yard upcoming for the Panthers.
This is where I want to see this Carolina offense. They have relied on Cam Newton almost exclusively on 3rd down and 1 short yardage situations. With Anderson at quarterback, they're going to have to rely on Tolbert to be the lead blocker and a new feature back.
Artis-Payne didn't get there. Chopped down at the line of scrimmage. Juan Alexander, Keith Tandy in on the play for Tampa Bay.
A lot of backup players playing, and Tampa Bay loads the line of scrimmage, and they stuff this short yardage run. What a start for this Buccaneer defense, who are completely depleted up front, missing several defensive linemen. That's a great start for Tampa.
3 of their 4 usual starters on the defensive line not playing tonight. Andy Lee, the punter for the Panthers. Fair catch signal made by Adam Humphries. 28-yard line will be the line of scrimmage, a 3 and out for Derek Anderson and Carolina. 3-0 Tampa Bay, first quarter in Charlotte. People affected by severe weather and other disasters need help now. To support those impacted by Hurricane Matthew, please text Matthew to 90999 to donate $10 to the American Red Cross's hurricane relief. Carolina's part of the country hit very hard by Matthew. At least 10 people in North Carolina lost their lives. 15 inches of rain fell in part of this state over the weekend. Jaquiz Rogers right back after it after an impressive performance on their opening drive when he carried 10 times and caught 1 pass. That's an 11-yard gain on his 11th carry of the night.
They're just pumping the ball right off the left side. And you see Joe Howley, the center, a very athletic center, pull. He kicks out Klein, and Luke Kuechly can't find the football, and Already Thomas Davis, one of their team captains, is out of the game. He's had that hamstring coming in here. He's replaced by A.J. Klein, number 56.
Rodgers running right. Cuts it back and turns it into a gain to the 42-yard line. Picked up 3 when it didn't look like there was much there.
Take a look at Rodgers in that first series, Sean. They handed the ball off the left side. He did a nice job cutting it back. Then out of the shotgun. Good vision, good north-south finish. Then they pull the guard, Ollie Marpet. Jacquizz Rodgers taking advantage of this opportunity, playing for Dirk Cutter.
Wear him out before the night is through. He takes a pop and keeps going. He's only 5'6", but he is very solidly put together at 190 pounds. He bounced his way to the 45 of Carolina for 13 yards.
Pamphile at left guard, dominating at the point of attack. You can't blame the secondary for this. This Carolina Panthers secondary blamed a lot for what happened last week. Make no confusion about what's happening now. They're taking it right to the front of the Panthers.
Peyton Barber, rookie out of Auburn, is in. He'd not played a snap on offense yet this year. Flags down as Winston left the pocket. The catch is made for a first down if it stands. Vincent Jackson the catch, but that was thrown where you would expect a hold. Clete Blakeman is the referee tonight.
DeMar Dotson.
Holding. Offense. Number 69. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
That's his 6th penalty this year. And Dotson cost Tampa Bay big. It's a play-action pass. You get the running game going. You get a loaded box. You want to turn your quarterback loose, and DeMar Dotson hooks Coney Ealy. It's an easy call to make.
Wow.
6 penalties in just 5 games. Got to clean up your technique on the edge.
Hard to miss him, too. He's the tallest Tampa Bay Buc. He's 6'9", out of Southern Miss, where he played 2 years on the basketball team before he made the transition to football. He was actually a starter for a while for the Golden Eagles basketball team. There's Peyton Barber, his first NFL carry. They go deep down the depth chart with the injuries to Doug Martin and Charles Sims, and they're trying to give Jacquizz Rodgers a well-earned breather.
I look out in this Carolina huddle on defense. They have had a revolving door at safety. They just brought in Michael Griffin, veteran safety out of the University of Texas, been in the league for a long time. Let's see if they can shore up their pass defense in an obvious passing situation.
Winston 3 out of 4 passing, and the holding penalty wiped out what would have been a 27-yard gain. Barber goes in motion. On 2nd and 17, a wobbler over the head of Mike Evans. Flag down at the line of scrimmage near sideline.
Offside. Defense, number 93. Player lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
LeVar Edwards, another backup player, pressed into service with all these injuries, and it's been all 3 levels of this Carolina defense that has struggled. The defensive line on level 1, their linebackers haven't played as advertised in their secondary, and that's a terrible penalty.
Jacquizz Rodgers back in. Adam Humphries, the motion man. And they throw it to him on a little bubble screen, and he's down a yard short of the first down, taken down by Shaq Thompson.
Take a look at last week. It was all 3 levels. They did not generate a pass rush, and Julio Jones had all day to get open. They couldn't stop the run, and Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman pounded them. And they weren't good at level 2. Their underneath coverage struggled. How will Carolina respond? A lot of adversity on the defensive side of the ball that they haven't felt in a long time.
And they, as you can see, have been dreadful on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. They haven't stopped one yet. But the flags and whistles stopped that one.
False start. Offense, number 74. The 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Ali Marpet How bad was it last week for that Carolina defense? They gave up 571 total yards, the second most in franchise history. Only the Saints put more yardage on the board against them January 1st of 2012 when they accumulated 617 yards.
That's a bad penalty, obviously, on Marpet. 3rd and 1 is now 3rd and 6. Tough down.
30 seconds to go in the quarter. The Carolina offense has been on the field for 1 minute and 49 seconds. Jameis Winston in trouble and sacked. They brought a corner blitz and Robert McClain got home.
That's what Sean McDermott told us they were going to do. They're not going to sit back and wait. Right off the right side of your screen, you're going to see McClain unaccounted for. Take a look at 32, Rodgers going the other way in pass protection. There's a bust up front. Penalty on Marpet at right guard and a sack. And that's what 1 in 3 teams do, Sean. They self-destruct.
Loss of 8 on the play. 3-0 Tampa Bay after a quarter. Tampa Bay came out determined to establish the run. They started the game with 6 consecutive running plays. They're the first team in the NFL this season to do that. And Luke Kuechly and the Carolina defense on the field for almost the entire first quarter. Tampa Bay had 13 minutes, 11 seconds time of possession, but only 3 points and now a punt by Brian Anger and a fair catch made by Ted Ginn at the 10-yard line. There's a look at the offense around Derek Anderson tonight. A terrific center in Ryan Khalil. Mike Remmers, ordinarily their right tackle, has shifted to the left. They're without Michael Orr for the second week with a concussion. And Derek Anderson, in his limited playing time, has made a real connection with Greg Olsen. He completed 5 balls to Olsen in the fourth quarter in Atlanta last weekend. In his 2 starts against Tampa Bay in 2014, he completed 18 passes to the outstanding tight end. 3 and out in their only possession of the first quarter. 4-man rush on target. Kelvin Benjamin swung around but not to the ground. He got another yard or 2. Finally taken down by Vernon Hargreaves, and the veteran Darrell Smith ran to the sideline.
Can the Tampa Bay Buccaneers corners handle the size of these Carolina Panther receivers? Look at the size advantage of Benjamin. All you got to do is look at the physical matchups. Grimes and Hargreaves at the bottom of the screen are going to struggle with the size of Funchess and Benjamin.
Big quarterback as well. Derek Anderson, 6'6". He's on target to Greg Olsen. First down to the 25-yard line. Olsen is 6'5", as is Benjamin, and Funchess is 6'4". And these Buccaneer cornerbacks all under 6 feet tall, including the rookie out of Florida, Vernon Hargreaves.
I love that Carolina, Sean, is speeding up the tempo with their veteran quarterback. Tampa Bay is depleted up front. They're in the first year of a new system. Wear them out with a veteran quarterback.
And off to Fozzie Whitaker to head for a yard. That first down for Carolina, the Panthers' first of the game. On the D-line, they're without 3 starters. Robert Ayers, Clinton McDonald, Gerald McCoy all out tonight. So the rookie, undrafted out of Ole Miss, Channing Ward, gets the start. Darrell Smith, the veteran, over from the Ravens to join talented young linebackers Alexander and David. And they love Vernon Hargreaves, the 11th player taken in the most recent NFL draft. Out of the University of Florida, just 21 years old, the youngest Tampa Bay Buck. On 2nd and 8, Derek Anderson throws, caught. Greg Olsen again, and another first down out to the 38-yard line.
This Greg Olsen can hurt you so many different ways. He can line up as a fullback, as a slot, as a wideout, as a conventional tight end, and you can't dispute production. He's had back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He's a good blocker. He's at the top of the food chain if you're looking for tight ends. What a player.
They marked it at the 37, a 10-yard gain. Play fake to Artis Payne. Lots of time for Anderson, and a nice catch. Benjamin Derek Anderson's now 4 for 4, and that's another Carolina first down to the Tampa Bay 48.
Got to get Benjamin going. The ex-Florida State Seminole on a shake route. Watch him attack the post and come back to the outside. That's a beautiful route. Hargraves from Florida, Benjamin from Florida State. Expect those two guys to have a battle tonight.
They did play against each other in college. 15-yard completion by Anderson. Artis Payne down at the 44-yard line. He gained 4.
This Derek Anderson relies on timing and precision. He had a Pro Bowl season as a Cleveland Brown. He's been here for 6 seasons. He knows this offense. They've tweaked it to fit his drop back passing skills. The offensive skill players are excited about Anderson because he throws the ball on time and accurate, and he's streaky. If he gets hot, look out.
Hot to start the game. Cameron Artis Payne shifted at the line of scrimmage, got back to the line, and that's all. Tackled by William Golston, the only healthy starter among that front 4 for Tampa Bay.
Carolina going to multiple receivers. You see number 10, Corey Brown, checking into the game. He's been very good, reliable in the slot. And at the top of the screen, it's Benjamin against the undersized but very talented Brent Grimes.
Anderson, deep ball, incomplete. The feet got tangled up. It was intended for Philly Brown. You heard Derek Anderson say West Philly.
Derek Anderson is not happy with Philly Brown. He should have taken a flatter angle to the post. There's nobody home. Hargraves and Brown get their feet tangled. I think it's a good no call. But clearly, with all the field in the middle of the field, Anderson wanted Brown to take it toward the goalpost.
Now Andy Lee, 3 times a Pro Bowl punter. And a bit too long. In the end zone for a touchback, 44-yard punt. It'll come out to the 20. 10:23 to go till halftime. 3-0 Winston and the Bucs. Tomorrow night at 10 Eastern Time on ESPN, The Undefeated presents a conversation with the president of sports, race, and achievement. There'll be a 1-hour student forum with President Obama from North Carolina A&T in Greensboro, hosted by Stan Verrett. He'll join the president for a frank discussion about the opportunity gaps faced by boys and young men of color, among other topics. It's tomorrow night at 10 on ESPN. Jameis Winston hands it off to Peyton Barber on first down. He got 2.
Peyton Barber from Auburn came out as a redshirt sophomore, had over 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns. He's 5'11", 220. Never thought we'd see Peyton Barber playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this early in the season. Let's see what he's got.
Toss it to Barber, running right, and he's down just shy of the 25-yard line. So Jaquiz Rogers comes back in. You mentioned, Coach, Dirk Cutter, long history with Jaquiz, very confident he'd do an excellent job tonight without Doug Martin and Charles Sims, and he certainly has.
Well, we got to take a look at Rogers in pass protection and potentially as a receiver now, Sean. 3rd down and long. Came off the edge and got a sack the last time in this situation. Let's see if they rev it up again.
Just a 4-man rush. Winston with time, and it's batted down. Intended for Vincent Jackson, and well defended by Teddy Williams, who, as John said, is ordinarily a special teams player. As a matter of fact, he's been inactive the last 3 weeks. But with injuries and the cut of Ben Wickery, he's out there tonight.
Well, he drove on the ball. I think Jameis missed this to the inside. 3-and-out stop. Teddy Williams, what a story he is. He's been on about 7 different teams. You never know when you're going to be given an opportunity Good for him.
The dangerous Ted Ginn Jr. back deep for the punt from Brian Angry. With his first year with the Bucs after 4 years as the punter for Jacksonville. Fair catch. Muffed by Ginn and recovered by Tampa Bay's Russell Shepard.
And the man we just talked about, Teddy Williams, is involved in that play. Watch Williams on the left side of your screen. He runs into Ted Ginn. He takes his eyes off the ball. He muffs it and right on the spot. Is Shepard, number 89. We saw it last week in our Minnesota-New York Giant game. The field flips immediately. Love to see Jameis Winston take a shot. They've been running the ball quite well. First down, good field position. Mike Evans at the top of the screen working against rookie Darryl Worley. I'd love to see it.
From the 30-yard line, great field position for Tampa Bay, leading 3-0. Jaquiz Rogers, big hole on the right side. Boy, he got walloped. Belted by Michael Griffin, as Coach Gruden said, a newcomer to Carolina, signed as a free agent on September 27th.
Watch right side of your screen, number 22. That's called filling the lane. There are certain safeties in pro football over the years that are fun to watch. Filling the lane, and Griffin is one of them. He will hit you.
Still a 4-yard gain for Rogers. Jumbo package in there. Gosder Cherilus comes in as an extra offensive lineman. Jameis on the move, caught, first down inside the 15-yard line. It's Brandon Myers, the tight end, 8-year man out of Iowa.
They have Carolina completely off balance. Play action pass. He wants that matchup we just talked about. Evans against Worley, but Jameis didn't like it. He got off his primary receiver, and with good protection, Jameis Winston can dominate a game. That's a great job in the pocket by Winston.
And just the third catch of the year for Myers. Deep handoff to Rogers, in trouble and swung down behind the line of scrimmage. Good penetration by LeVar Edwards.
LeVar Edwards taking advantage of his playing time. Big receivers for Tampa Bay. We talked about the big receivers that the Panthers have on offense, but Vincent Jackson, Mike Evans, you won't see many big receivers like these two.
Rogers, after the play fake to him, took the little dump pass, and he's close to another first down, short of it by a yard, run down by Thomas Davis. And you have to admire the play calling of Dirk Cutter here in the first half.
Great way to slow down the rush. Watch all the linemen slide to their right, and you're going to see Rogers bluff LeVar Edwards, and off he goes. Excellent play calling, and because of their ability to run the football, the whole playbook is open for Dirk Cutter. Third and 1, just outside the 5.
Can Carolina stop a 3rd and 1? Boy, this is the second time with 1 yard to go that it appears Tampa Bay has moved.
Ball start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Gosder Cherilus, the former first-round draft choice of the Detroit Lions out of Boston College, with a big penalty.
This drives me crazy. You work so hard to get in these situations, and on back-to-back 3rd and 1 situations, you jump off sides. That's ridiculous.
So now he goes out as they're not going with their jumbo package on 3rd down and 6. Under 6 minutes to go in the half. Tampa Bay dominating the time of possession, but with only a 3-0 lead.
Looks like an all-out blitz.
Winston got rid of it. There is a flag down.
Prior to the snap, delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
It's a break for Tampa Bay.
The cat and mouse between Jameis Winston and Luke Kuechly. Fun to watch, and the veteran middle linebacker fools them. He thinks it's an all-out blitz. He's trying to change the protection and change the play, and then Kuechly backed out of it, fooled the young quarterback. Kuechly is making Winston think it's a blitz, and then when the audible occurs, the whole program changes. Back-to-back back-breaking penalties by Tampa.
And now it looks like they're going to use a timeout as the play clock is down to 6. Back in Charlotte on a beautiful fall night, the temperature in the high 50s, clear skies, no breeze, and a big 3rd down and 11 for Jameis Winston in Tampa Bay, leading 3-0. From the Carolina 15, 4-man rush. They put some pressure on, and the throw's too high for Vincent Jackson.
Pass rush is the best way to improve your pass coverage, and that's the 2nd time tonight Jameis has misfired on an outside breaking route. Last time Evans couldn't hang on. This time Vincent Jackson, ball clearly thrown way too high.
And another critical penalty on 3rd down and 1 for Tampa Bay. They had 3rd and 1 at the Carolina 5. Charles jumped. Aguayo connected from 35. His 2nd attempt of the night is off the upright and no good. From 33, the nightmare continues for the rookie out of Florida State. We asked Dirk Cutter yesterday, are you worried about your kicker? He said it doesn't make any difference because he's going to be our kicker. He better get it together. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Benjamin Moore. Paint like no other. By NFLshop.com. Find the largest selection of NFL products at the official store of the NFL. And by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats. Coverage tonight from Skycam is brought to you by American Express. The nightmare continues for Roberto Aguayo. 2nd round pick. So rare that a team uses a draft choice that high to take a kicker. And you expect near perfection, especially in this area where the kickers are so good around the league, that he's been dreadful. Anderson over the middle, caught by Kelvin Benjamin for a 1st down out to the 40-yard line with Vernon Hargraves in coverage.
All started with good pass protection, and Benjamin continuing to go after Hargraves. Size, inside release, nice pattern, staying nice and flat at the top of his route, and a good delivery by Derek Anderson. And here comes Carolina in that no-huddle offense.
After a 17-yard gain, nearly a 3-1 edge in time of possession for the Bucs, but just a 3-0 lead. Good run by Fozzie Whitaker, taken down by the safety Chris Conti after a gain of 7.
That's Greg Olson at tight end. He can do it all as a receiver. That time he came in motion and became a lead blocker. He seals off the inside linebacker. That's well done. And already another defensive lineman down, John Hughes, who was just signed off the waiver wire. And I don't know how many more defensive linemen Tampa Bay can go through this early in the season.
They signed Hughes 1 week ago today after he tried out for them. Tampa Bay leads 3-0. 4.5 minutes to go till halftime. They dominated the game. They just lost John Hughes. The good news is he walked off under his own power. So depleted up front, they're looking everywhere for help. You saw he's been let go by 2 teams already this season. Off the hands of Benjamin and intercepted by Darryl Smith.
Went to the well too many times. He telegraphed that throw. Should have got off it, and the ball's tipped and intercepted. Great work by this Buccaneer defense.
They were -9 in turnover margin for the year entering tonight. They're +2 this evening. Back in Charlotte, 1st and 10 Tampa Bay. Just the 3rd takeaway for their defense. And this their 5th game of the season. Setting up a screen on 1st down. Jameis Winston to Jaquiz Rogers. Finally wrestled down by Luke Kuechly, but he got ahead for a couple more. A 4-yard gain.
Well, you're going to see coverage rotate to Benjamin and help over the top. He's got to reset and get the ball to Ted Ginn at the top of the screen. You have protection. Reset, you see Ted Ginn wide open. He forced that ball right into rotation, and Tampa Bay makes him pay.
Vernon Hargraves got his hands in there, and Darrell Smith, the oldest Buck at age 34, picked it off. Rogers broke another tackle behind the line of scrimmage. A.J. Klein finally knocked him down, but they missed a chance behind the line from Coney Ely.
But their ability to stay with the run has kept them in some manageable third down situations. Look out there on Carolina's defense. Just checked in, number 31, Zach Sanchez. Just called up off the practice squad, a 5th-round pick out of Oklahoma. At the top of the screen, Darryl Worley, another rookie out of West Virginia. Let's see if Jameis Winston can go after him on a critical 3rd and 4.
Winston steps up in the pocket. Little pump fake. He lost the football after he crossed the line to make. Looked like Mario Addison banged it out, and the Panthers think they have it. And they don't. The Buccaneers have it, and it'll be a 1st down.
Very fortunate. Carolina showed blitz. Everybody bailed out of there. They fool the young quarterback. Off he goes. Got to protect the ball better than that. Dodged a bullet.
Looked like Jameis Winston got it back. Well, Dirk Cutter talked about we can't keep turning it over, and we need to get some takeaways, and that's been a part of their formula tonight. It has to be a little frustrating for the coach that they're ahead just 3-0 the way they've controlled the football. Earlier today, members of Charlotte's Mallard Creek High School football team took a tour of the Monday Night Football production compound. Chance to visit with our terrific crew, see how folks behind the scenes do their jobs. And the Mavericks are 6-1 this season, ranked 2nd in the state of North Carolina. Obviously had a lot of fun in the truck today. Happy to have them here. At the 2-minute warning, Jameis Winston on 1st and 10 for the Bucs. Completes a pass just short of the 1st down. Mike Evans. It'll give him the 38-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 2. And 2 timeouts left for Dirk Cutter and the Bucs.
I'm shocked that Carolina has all their prize rushers on the sideline. Charles Johnson, Ely, K'Wan Short, not even in the game, and I'd keep throwing it.
First catch of the night for Evans, 27th of the year, on target again. 2 in a row for Evans, and a 1st down Tampa Bay at the 22. Evans limping a bit as he got up.
Timing, post pattern, well done, and with all these backup pass rushers out there for Carolina, I'd keep ripping it. Ball's thrown right out of the break with anticipation and accuracy.
Evans went out of the game limping. Russell Shepard took his place. Rogers inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. Michael Griffin made the tackle. 1:02 left, and the clock is stopped as the Bucs use their 2nd timeout.
Tampa Bay takes its 2nd timeout of the half.
Some of the starters back in for 2nd down. .102 to go until halftime. Tampa Bay is dominated the time of possession, but leads just 3-0. 2nd and 5 for them at the 16-yard line. A blitz off the corner from McLean. Winston gives him a stiff arm and gets away. Now throws toward the end zone, and too high for Mike Evans, who came back in for that down after limping off a moment ago. He had coverage from the newly activated Zach Sanchez, the rookie out of Oklahoma.
Well, you're going to see Robert McLean on another nickel blitz. He had the sack earlier in the game, but watch Jameis Winston stiff arm him. How about the strength of Jameis Winston? I don't know what Sean McDermott should call. You have a free rusher and you have the 6'5", 230-pound quarterback rejected.
Probably nobody in the stadium cheering for a conversion on third down for the Bucs more than their kicker, Aguayo. After his chip shot missed a moment ago, Winston for Evans, incomplete in the end zone. Covered by Trey Boston, a safety, and it will be Aguayo for the third time in the half.
You're going to see Evans. This is a route that they love in Tampa. It's a slot combination. Humphries goes outside, Evans goes inside, and that was a close call. I think Trey Boston got away with one there, and here's the adventure. I drafted a kicker in the first round when I was with the Raiders, Janikowski, and he drove me crazy his rookie year a few times, I'll tell you that.
Turned out to be a terrific kicker. Aguayo's just the 5th kicker taken in the first or second round of the last 30 NFL drafts. He hasn't made it look like a good move yet, but it's very early. That one's good from 35, and he's 2 for 3 tonight. 43 seconds to go in the half, 6-0 Bucs. Roberto Aguayo kicks off for Tampa Bay. Ted Ginn's going to try it in the final minute of the half, and he's chopped down shy of the 20-yard line. Well, we mentioned it's very rare you take a kicker in the second round. Only 5 in the last 30 drafts, including Sebastian Janikowski when you were in Oakland.
Janikowski, #1 pick. He missed a lot of field goals early as a rookie. He drove me crazy. I wanted to get rid of him. And then he missed curfew in New Orleans, and I was really mad at him. I wanted to get rid of him. But we had a 58-yarder on the opening drive, and the special teams coach said, don't do it. I kicked it anyhow. I wanted to cut him because I was mad at him.
You wanted him to miss?
I wanted him to miss. I was so mad at him. He drilled it. I hugged him at the near hash. The rest is history. You got to bear with these young kickers, let me tell you.
Like Anderson bobbled the snap for a moment. He's on target to Greg Olsen, and they'll try to go quickly. They have all 3 timeouts. They'd probably be wise to use one here. And they do. Clock stop with 34 seconds to go.
Probably be wise to start featuring Olsen more and more. When Anderson came off the bench last week against Atlanta, he leaned on Olsen for some big catches.
34 seconds away from the Toyota halftime. Chris Berman will have his final drive. Yeah, Tom Brady looked a little rusty yesterday, didn't he? In his return against the Browns, 406 yards for the Patriots. In our first take crew, Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman with their take on what's going on in Dallas. Jerry Jones has said that when Tony Romo's healthy, he will be the quarterback, despite the fact that Dak Prescott has been just about perfect.
Might want to rethink that based on what I've seen.
From the 40, 1st and 10, 2 timeouts left. Anderson on target again to Kelvin Benjamin to the Buccaneer 42-yard line. Chris Conte and Vernon Hargraves there, and another timeout taken quickly by Ron Rivera.
This big receivers for Carolina, you have seen it in the first half. Take a look at the catch radius Benjamin has against Hargrave on this outside breaking route. Hard to miss targets like that. And you have the 6'5" Greg Olsen working against Hargraves again. They get body position. They body up on you, much like you see in the NBA. These guys post up in between the paint.
Tampa Bay's defense has really struggled the last 2 minutes of the first half. They've given up 27 points, most in the NFL, in the last 2 minutes of the half in the first 4 weeks. Their opponents have scored in every game with under 2 minutes to go in the half, and now they're likely in field goal range for Graham Gano. Anderson isn't going to use the last time out here. He got an 8-yard gain to Philly Brown. And some movement and a flag with 15 seconds to go.
That should be on Greg Olsen. A 10-second runoff if it is.
False start. Offense number 68. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down. In addition, this situation requires a 10-second runoff. However, Carolina elects to take a timeout and save the 10 seconds. So this will be Carolina's third and final timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
We've seen some bad football tonight on short yardage. Both teams have failed miserably on 3rd and 1, and here in the 2-minute drill, that's a good move by head coach Ron Rivera to use that final timeout, save those 10 seconds. But remember, Carolina with no timeouts left, got to be real careful here with their play selection.
Do you have time to do anything in the middle of the field?
Short and quick. I'm looking down here at the bottom of the screen. Quick throw to Philly Brown with Benjamin blocking.
The 57-yard field goal for Graham Gano from here. Anderson throws to the sideline. Olsen out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Great work by Carolina. Still 10 seconds to go in the half.
Boy, that's not good by Tampa. No pass rush, and you let Olsen get a deep outside breaking route to stop the clock. Clearly in Graham Gano's field goal range now, and with 10 seconds left, it's got to be hit or miss if you're Derek Anderson. Complete or incomplete. Nothing fancy here.
And a flag down for a false start.
False start, offense number 74. It's a 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Mike Remmers. Buccaneers think this half is over because of a 10-second runoff, but the clock was stopped.
Right. Therefore, there is no runoff. They put 2 seconds back on the clock. Dirk Cutter wants an explanation from Clete Blakeman, and now he's being restrained by some of his players. And now I believe Coach Cutter's going to call a timeout. The offense still on the field for Carolina.
Takes its 3rd and final timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
And I used to take timeouts in the 2-minute situation for our defense. We had a guy named Warren Sapp. I'd take a timeout so he could rest and go out there and rush. Maybe that's what Dirk Cutter's doing. They don't have a lot of pass rushers out there on defense. Just look in that huddle. Guys that many of you probably don't know. Howard Jones from Shepherd College. Noah Spence is a rookie, number 57. Haven't seen him do much this year. Buccaneers are missing their pass rushers. Gerald McCoy, Clinton McDonald, Robert Ayers. Those are the guys that have the fancy suits and the big cars.
They didn't decide till just before game time that McCoy was a no-go with a calf strain. Anderson 4 for 4 on this drive. He's moved them down here in 33 seconds. Throws deep to the end zone for Olsen, and an incomplete pass. Surrounded by Buccaneers, the linebacker Quan Alexander running in coverage.
Bradley McDougald made a nice play. You're going to see number 30, veteran safety out of Kansas, with help from Quan Alexander, and Tampa knew where that ball was going.
So Graham Gano on to try his first field goal of the night. But if he caught that, Carolina would have the lead at the half in all likelihood, despite being outplayed for most of the half. 43-yard attempt from the right hash mark. Andy Lee, the punter, is the holder. That one's hooked. And that one is no good. But there is a flag down.
There is no foul against the defense for leverage on the play. The field goal is not good. First down, Tampa.
These Panthers look nothing like the 15-1 regular season team of last year that went to the Super Bowl and lost to Denver. Of course, this was the opening game. It looked like they were going to have a great win at Denver in the Super Bowl rematch, but Graham Gano missed a 50-yarder and the Panthers lost 21-20.
You never stay the same, Sean. You either get better or worse. Clearly, the Panthers are not a better football team than they were last year.
Well, we've watched a little bit of history here tonight, John. This is the lowest scoring first half of the year in the National Football League. 6 combined points, the previous low 9. So we have that going for us. Carolina will have the ball to start the second half. Here's Chris Berman in the Toyota halftime. We're back in downtown Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium, Tampa Bay, leading Carolina 6-0. 21 minutes, 46 seconds, time of possession for the Bucs. John, they came out clearly trying to run the ball. 6 straight runs to start the game. More rushes than throws in the first half for Tampa Bay. Moved the ball, but just the 2 field goals.
Yeah, the highlight of the first half was 10-second runoff, because you rarely get to see that. I mean, we've seen 3rd and 1 penalties, delay a game, missed field goals, muff punts. That's not good enough by either team. Both of these teams are 1-3, and their lives are at stake. Hopefully the play picks up here in the third quarter.
Yeah, we had 2 made field goals. We had 2 missed field goals, 1 by each team. Ron Rivera still very optimistic. When we spoke with him during the week about their chances to turn this around, get back to the playoffs. But Luke Kuechly and that defense on the field for a lot of the half. Derek Anderson starting for Cam Newton went 9 for 12. Ted Ginn had a muff, his first fumble on a punt in his 3 years as a Panther, but it really wasn't his fault. He bumped into his teammate Teddy Williams. So here's Roberto Aguayo to kick off for the Bucs. Ginn will not try it. Here's Lisa Salters.
Well, Sean, Carolina's offense wasn't on the field all that much in the first half, but Ron Rivera told me, he said, we've got to protect the football. He said turnovers and penalties are what kept us off the board. And with what happened against Atlanta last week, you have to think that Tampa's offense thought that they might be able to come here and pick up where the Falcons left off. And Rivera said that's why he's pleased with the way the defense is holding up. And he said, we're letting them move the ball too much. They're getting past the 50. We've got to keep them on their side of the field. Sean?
All right, Lisa, thanks. Despite how bad it was, they're 1 touchdown away from the lead. Anderson, little screen to Ted Ginn Jr. ahead for 6. Taken bound by Devontae Lambert, the rookie out of Auburn, getting to start at defensive end tonight with all the injuries.
And I know Ron Rivera would like to get this running game going. Carolina had a streak of over 100 yards rushing snapped last week in Atlanta. So far tonight, haven't seen anything on the ground.
30 straight games with at least 100 yards rushing for the Panthers. Ended last week when they had just 49. In Atlanta, a delay. Cameron Artis-Payne. Great tackle in the open field by Bradley McDougald, the safety man.
Well, take a look at Tampa's loading the box. Derek Anderson to throw the football. They have him outnumbered. And there's Gerald Smith for the tackle. It's an 8-man front against a 2-back set. There's 1 extra guy in a hole. There's nowhere to go. And then on his short yardage 3rd and 1, where do you have to run the ball? Nowhere. 3rd and 1 again, and they're loading the box one more time. Let's see if they can pick up a yard.
Play fake. They forego the run, and it works on a pass to Greg Olsen and a big gainer. Levante David trying to wrestle him down and could not, and Olsen made it all the way down to the Tampa Bay 32.
That's a great call. We just showed the picture of the first half where there were 10 guys loading the box. Mike Shula says not this time. They fake the power play. They come out on a bootleg, and Olsen fools David for a huge play. And finally, the crowd is in the game, Sean.
Well, we mentioned earlier Anderson and Olsen have a connection, and it's hard to imagine how they'd form one. So little practice time for backup quarterbacks in today's NFL with the limited practice time. 34-yard gain, the longest in the game for either team. Another screen. Fozzie Whitaker maneuvering through the traffic. He's down a yard short of the first down in the arms of Bradley McDougald with Darrell Smith nearby. Nice rhythm to start this half for Carolina.
I really like Mike Shula. Last year, the Carolina Panthers led the league in scoring. They led the league in rushing. And right now, he's got to adapt to a new quarterback. And at halftime, he's made some nice adjustments. They have 2 different game plans, one for Newton, one for Derek Anderson. I didn't have a game plan for my backup quarterback. I just got the punt team ready.
I'm sure whoever you're referring to as he's watching tonight appreciates that. Anderson on the move. Caught. Philly Brown first down at the 17-yard line.
Moving the pocket. Excuse me, Sean. That's a second bootleg. We've seen a screen. Fake the ball to Whitaker to the left. They come out on a bootleg to the right. And this will wear down the Tampa Bay defense. Kelvin Benjamin, number 13, 3 touchdowns in the first 2 games. They love him at close range.
4 for 4 on this opening drive of the second half. 13 for 16 for the game for the 33-year-old out of Oregon State, Derek Anderson. Artis Payne picked up 3. Quan Alexander the tackle. Of course, Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator for Carolina, a former Tampa Bay Buck. Drafted out of Alabama back in 1987 in the 12th round. You kind of forgot they used to have that many rounds.
My dad drafted him. Ray Perkins was the head coach. My dad was the personnel director. They took Vinny Testaverde in round 1 and Mike Shula in round 12.
Yeah, he said, I was 12B. They picked somebody else with a pick earlier in the 12th round. Yeah. Ozzie Whitaker stays on his feet. Flag down near the end of the play. If it stands, he has a first down inside the 10-yard line. Jude Ajibarima with the tackle.
They have gotten Carolina for a holding, either Funchess or Philly Brown. Late flag.
There are 2 fouls against the offense on the play. Holding number 17, that penalty's declined. Holding number 70. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Devin Funchess and Trey Turner.
Bad penalty. You're going to see right guard Trey Turner in the Pro Bowl last year.
He grabbed him by the jersey there at the end.
Not hard to see that.
Holding John Hughes.
Well, we've seen some terrible offensive penalties in the most critical of situations.
Set a first down inside the 10, 2nd and 17 from the 25. All day for Anderson. Greg Olsen again. First down inside the 5-yard line.
Got a backup right tackle playing in Darrell Williams. You give him a little bit of help in pass protection. And Derek Anderson makes his best throw of the night. Watch Fozzie Whitaker nudge the defensive end. It helps the backup right tackle in his pass set, and that's a beautiful crossing route by Greg Olsen against this zone coverage.
6 catches, 117 yards receiving for Olsen. Now Carolina poised to take the lead on 1st and goal. All day again for Anderson, and a throw a bit too high for the 6'5" Kelvin Benjamin.
Benjamin and Ginn both crossed the field. They tried to create a pick. It didn't work out. And Benjamin, who had 13 catches in the first 2 games, awful quiet the last 2 weeks. And clearly they're going after these undersized Buccaneer corners with their big receiver. This is where they miss Cam Newton, Sean. Obviously.
Those runs for the quarterback by design. Mike Tolbert left his feet and paid the price for it at the 1-yard line. Bradley McDougald, the safety, delivered a big blow.
You know, this Carolina offense, number 1 in the league last year in the red zone, scoring touchdowns. And a lot of that because of Cam Newton. 45 rushing touchdowns for Cam Newton already. Let's see if they can do it the old-fashioned way.
Last year, 68% of the time they made it to the red zone, they scored a touchdown. That was the franchise record. Anderson retreating. Olsen dropped the ball. Oh, you almost never see that. And Anderson putting it on himself, but I think Olsen would say he should have had it.
And they're going for it. Wide open receiver. Can't miss those throws. And Scott, number 79, one of the biggest extra offensive linemen, is checked in.
Yeah, tough catch there. Well behind him.
Will they put their money where their mouth is? This is the #1 rushing team in football last year. Keep an eye on Tolbert, the upback.
In front of Cameron, Artis Payne. Artis Payne up to the goal line. Touchdown, Carolina.
What a cutting call by Rivera. Riverboat Run. A couple years ago, he got that nickname by going for it on 4th down, and it revived this whole program. Tolbert, the lead back. Cameron Artis Payne over the top for 6. And here's Graham Gano, and this has been an adventure for Carolina this year. Putting the ball through the uprights.
He clearly did break the plane. So Graham Gano. After a 75-yard, 11-play drive to give the Panthers the lead. First touchdown of the game for either team. It's 7-6 Panthers with 9:12 to go in the third quarter. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by the new Bacon King sandwich. 6 strips of crispy bacon piled atop a half pound of 100% beef. Only at Burger King.
Wow.
Yeah, that sounds good, doesn't
I need
it?
2 of those.
By Toyota. Let's get 2 of those as well. Let's go places. And by ESPNShop.com, powered by Dick's Sporting Goods. Lots of dining options, including Burger King. What a great city this is. Charlotte, the hub of banking, among other things. Ken Dorsey, the quarterback coach, on the tablet with Derek Anderson after the touchdown drive that has given Carolina a 1-point lead. Graham Gano kicks off. Now to the back of the end zone. So a ball control drive by Carolina. That's what Jameis and the Buccaneers did so well in the first half. First possession of the second half for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by second-year quarterback Jameis Winston. Trailing for the first time tonight. They take over with 9:12 to go in the third quarter. Right back to Jaquiz Rogers, and they're ready for him. Penetration from Charles Johnson.
It's going to come down to Jameis Winston, Sean. Can he take it to another level? You can only protect him so long by running the football. If you want to take out the defending NFC champions, your divisional rivals on the road on Monday Night Football, do it yourself. Love to see Jameis Winston with the ball in his hands.
Rodgers has had the ball in his hands a bunch. 18 carries, tying his career high. And still a long way to go in this one. He went in motion out to the far left. He's open if Jameis wanted to throw it out there. Instead, he slides down after a run. They'll mark it at the 28 and 7 yards to go on third down for the Bucs.
It's like their center, Joe Holly, holding his back of his left knee, and it doesn't look good.
And as they tend to him, we'll step aside with 8:20 to go in the third quarter. Back in Charlotte. Third down and 7. Evan Smith, the new center, taking over for Joe Hawley, who was helped off. They're 1 for the last 6 on third down, and Winston's in trouble. Got it off. It's caught, but short of the first down. Cameron Brate made the catch despite the protests of the Carolina defenders, but he's a yard short of the first down, and Dirk Cutter sends on the punter, Brian Anger.
There's that Carolina pass rush. A good power rush by Charles Johnson and good pursuit by Addison. And Cameron Brate did not catch a football.
And here comes the challenge.
You're getting pretty good at this, Sean.
Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch.
And they're going to win that challenge. As they look at it, it shouldn't take long. We'll be back in Charlotte right after this. The ruling on the field was a catch by Cameron Braid. It certainly did not look like a catch. Here's Cleve Blakeman.
After review of the play, the ball hit the ground. It is an incomplete pass. I'll bring up 4th down. Carolina will not be charged with a timeout. Please put 7 minutes, 59 seconds on the game clock. 7:59.
See Luke Kuechly, he said, hey, challenge that. Cameron Braid should have got up and just saved us all time and said, I didn't catch that. That was obvious.
Yeah, that would be one of my ideas to speed up play. Let the other coach say, you know what, don't even look at the replay. We all saw it on the screen. It wasn't a catch. Move the ball back and we'll punt from a few yards further back.
Here's Ted Ginn, 10 touchdowns last year. The man is a game changer when it comes to returning punts if they give him a chance.
Came after Anger. Very high punt. Ginn not impeded by his teammates this time. Runs out of bounds, far sideline. Run out by Keith Tandy. We remind you, it should be a very important program. Will come your way tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. The Undefeated presenting a conversation with the president. Sports, race, and achievement. 1 hour from North Carolina A&T with President Obama, hosted by Stan Barrett. Among the topics, social activism among athletes. That's tomorrow night, 10 Eastern on ESPN, streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN.
Buccaneers got to keep an eye on Greg Olsen. Already 6 catches for 117 yards. Clearly Derek Anderson's favorite target.
Little toss to Fozzie Whitaker. Ran a long way before there was anybody in a white shirt near him. They're going to mark him down with an 8-yard gain at the 40-yard line. Joe Hawley has gone to the locker room. Their starting center. He beat out Evan Smith in the preseason for that job. Smith is experienced. He started 5 games at center last year.
Got to be alert for the play action pass in these second and short situations. The Buccaneers, watch these 2 safeties, McDougal and Conti. They've been disguising all night.
Derek Anderson with the play fake. Short throw. Billy Brown couldn't catch it. Here's Lisa Salters.
Yeah, Sean, well, I think it was more precautionarily that they were taking him back to the locker room as they were working on him out here on the training table. Hawley seemed very relieved that the left knee wasn't giving him too many problems. He actually, remember, he was helped off the field, but then he was over here on the sidelines on his own 2 feet. He seemed fine, hopping on his left foot. He seemed to be doing okay, and he actually hugged the trainer. He just seemed like he was relieved that the injury wasn't as bad as maybe he initially thought. So.
All right, Lisa, thank you. 3rd down and 2 here for the Panthers. Just 1 out of 4 on 3rd down. Here's a blitz. Anderson got it off for Kelvin Benjamin. Incomplete.
Mike Smith, defensive coordinator, brings pressure. Levante David coming off the corner. You have a backup left tackle. Rush him with speed, and Levante David can run. Anderson felt the pressure, and he's lucky that wasn't intercepted.
Well, Mike Smith has to be very pleased with the defensive effort tonight. The Buccaneers had given up more points through the first 4 games this season of any season in their history. Andy Lee got run into, and there is a flag down. Adam Humphries fielded the punt.
Howard Jones.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. Defense, number 95, the 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Terrible mistakes, Sean. You see Jones on the right side of your screen. Crystal clear call for the referee, and Tampa Bay has failed tonight on 3rd and 1 twice offensively. Roughing the punter gives Carolina a huge 1st down with great field position, and head coach Dirk Cutter is about to explode. I know I used to explode down there with that team.
No, we never saw that. We always look to be the picture of composure.
I want to explode. I'm up here with you.
Yeah, the football isn't good. You're not happy, and this has not exactly been one for the archives tonight, but there's still a lot of time. Greg Olsen open, shoved down by Darrell Smith inside the 15-yard line. What a night for the veteran Olsen. Ron Rivera says he's the hardest working player he's ever been around.
Somebody's got to introduce the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Greg Olsen, watch him at tight end at the top of the screen. He just runs a flatten up and nobody's there. He's got 150 yards receiving, and I'd keep wearing him out if I was Carolina.
He's moved past Kellen Winslow tonight for 8th place in NFL history for receiving yards among tight ends. There's a touchdown for Carolina. Cameron Artis-Payne turned the corner and got to the pylon.
You're going to see one of the greatest blocks by Andrew Norwell you'll ever see. Oh, wow. Love to see offensive linemen pull. Watch number 68, Andrew Norwell at left guard. Pull around the horn. That's awesome. Touchdown, Carolina.
Cameron Artis-Payne hadn't had a touchdown all season. He now has both touchdowns in this game. The extra point good from Graham Gano. They didn't score in the first half. They've scored 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Anderson and the Panthers up by 8. Sean McDonough, John Gruden, Monday Night Football from Charlotte, with the Panthers have taken a 14-6 lead. If you're just joining us, they're without Cam Newton. Out with a concussion suffered last week. They were 1-3 with him. A lot of talk while he's been out of practice this week about what he might do when he comes back to protect himself a bit better.
Well, he makes it look so easy. It's just really important, I think, that he finishes the plays. He's got to finish the plays. Sometimes you can get away with it. He scores so many touchdowns, you pull up. But he's got to run through the line, not to the line. And don't ever ease up on the sideline again. Cam Newton pulled up last week. He's got to learn from this. He's too important to this league and this franchise. Got to finish the play better, and I'm sure he's well aware of that.
Do they need to call fewer design runs for Newton?
Well, they want to see him last. This is a risky offense when you involve your quarterback as a lead runner and you use these RPOs where you don't block people. You're putting your quarterback at risk.
Graham Gano kicks off. Adam Schefter reported during the week that Cam's inner circle has talked to him about doing a better job of trying to protect himself.
Think about changing the offense. If you're going to expose your quarterback on direct runs like that, he's going to get hurt. Quarterbacks aren't built to run the ball like Eddie George did for the Titans in his glory years. And some of these RPOs where the defensive end is unblocked, they're not teaching these defensive ends to do anything, but they hit Cam Newton as hard as they can, whenever they can. They are all learning how to defend Newton from the Denver Broncos, who defended him quite well back-to-back games.
Down by 8. Jameis Winston out throwing a deep ball too long for Mike Evans, who had double coverage. Darrell Worley, the rookie corner, a part of that tandem. Let's get a little more on Cam Newton from Lisa Salters.
Yeah, Sean, well, we've been hearing all week that Cam Newton is in the concussion protocol. Here's a little bit about where that is. Whenever a player is diagnosed with a concussion, he's got to clear 5 levels and able to be back on the field again. He's got to be symptom-free. The first step, like just rest. He can't do anything. And then there's some activity, then increased activity, then football, and then full football. Cam Newton, Ron Rivera told me, was throwing and running today. They hope to get him doing more work tomorrow. So everything is a case-by-case basis, so there's really no set timetable on when a player returns. It could be days, it could be weeks. Sean?
All right, Lisa, thank you. During your report, another tough run by Jacquizz Rodgers. What a boost he's given the Tampa Bay run game tonight. It's a first down on a gain of 11.
I love it. Third string running back, running his heart out tonight on the road for Tampa. Jacquizz Rodgers.
Jameis Winston, deep ball. There's a receiver open, and it's caught for a big gainer. Inside the Carolina 25-yard line, the tight end out of Harvard, Cameron Brate.
Great call by Dirk Cutter. Brate disappeared. Everybody thought they were going to throw the ball to Cross at tight end, but you're going to see Brate on the left side of your screen. He's blocking, he disappears. He fooled Carolina, and Jameis Winston found him.
38-yard gain for Brate. If he didn't catch on, the NFL was looking at a career in finance on Wall Street. While he was at Harvard, did an internship with a hedge fund.
Got him.
Open receiver and a touchdown for Mike Evans.
That's what Jameis Winston is paid to do. Deal with the adversity, bring your team back on the road. It's a double move to Mike Evans. And he stung Worley, the rookie, big time. They run the same play. They hit Brate. Just like Atlanta got him last week, they set up Mike Evans for 6. That's great play calling. And Mike Evans and Jameis Winston, what a combination they have become. 1 for 2.
Do you like to go for 2 with 4.5 left in the third quarter?
I love it.
Especially with the shaky kicker. That extra point for Aguayo's no guarantee. Winston out of the gun. Zings one, caught, and it's good for the 2 points for Adam Humphries. With a homecoming, he's from Spartanburg, South Carolina, not too far from Charlotte. Played a couple of hours away from here at Clemson. What a response by Jameis Winston and the Bucs. Just 4 plays in a minute and a half. Though he did not have a touchdown in this game for more than 35 minutes of game action, now these two teams have combined for 3 touchdowns in the last 4:45. 14 apiece with 4:27 to go in this NFC South battle. The Tampa Bay Bucs have lost 6 in a row head-to-head to Carolina. They've been swept in the 2-game season series each of the last 3 years. Roberto Aguayo kicks off. Out of the back of the end zone. Well, last week we mentioned earlier, historically bad defense by the Panthers. First team in the history of the league to give up a 300-yard receiver and a 500-yard passer in the same game as Matt Ryan threw for 503. Julio Jones caught 300 yards worth of receptions. How have they done tonight? Jameis 149 pass yards, and the leading receiver Mike Evans entering tonight is their leading receiver tonight as well with 3 catches.
Got a feeling those 2 will be back shortly.
And Derek Anderson marched them down the field again. That one is almost intercepted. Brent Grimes, the newcomer to Tampa Bay, saw that one coming and nearly took it to the house.
Well, he had 13 interceptions as an Atlanta Falcon. He had 13 more as a Dolphin. He almost gets another one. He saw that curl route by Benjamin all the way, and normally Grimes is walking with that one.
4-time Pro Bowler. Now in his 10th year out of Shippensburg. Chairman Artis Payne weaved his way out near the 30-yard line. Here comes 3rd down, about 5.5. Levante David and Quan Alexander made the tackle.
And in the last 3rd down situation of this distance, Mike Smith, defensive coordinator, brought Levante David on a blitz. Tampa Bay is light on pass rushers. They just can't get there without a blitz. Let's see if they cut one loose here.
Great to see Mike Smith back in the league. Former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Took last year out of coaching. Reunited with Dirk Cutter, who is his offensive coordinator with the Falcons. Anderson's pass caught by Olsen, and the ball comes out. Incomplete. Bradley McDougald there to knock it away.
Good play by McDougald, and they did bring a blitz. Both linebackers right up the A-gaps. You see 43, Fozzie Whitaker does a nice job with Ryan Khalil picking it up. Olsen normally handles that football, and credit McDougal was stripping it out of there.
So here's Andy Lee to punt. They roughed him the last time he came on to punt. Room for Adam Humphries from the 19. Across the 30 before he gets blasted. Ed Dixon, backup tight end down there covering the punt. 52-yard kick, a return of 11 for Humphries. Friends, screening saves lives. The NFL and the American Cancer Society encourage everyone to join in the fight against breast cancer. You can learn more about A Crucial Catch Day on October 25th. Find out how you can help make a crucial catch at NFL.com/pink. Dirk Cutter said we need to change the culture in Tampa Bay. When we asked him last night, how do you do that? You win. Here's a chance for a big road win against the NFC defending champs. Tied at 14 late in the third quarter. Jaquiz Rogers, the ball carrier, stopped by Coney Ely.
Not only win, Sean, you got to win these kinds of games, these endurance contests. You got to be able to win late in games, and that's something that this franchise has struggled to do for the last few years. What a great opportunity Cutter and his young quarterback have here in Carolina.
Well, I know you wouldn't say it, but they've really struggled to do that since you were relieved of your duties as head coach. There's Jaquiz Rogers taken down behind the line of scrimmage by Shaq Thompson.
Shaq Thompson's been taking good notes. He's the heir apparent to Thomas Davis. You're going to see number 54, first-round pick out of Washington a year ago. He beat Brandon Myers badly.
Joe Hawley is back in there at center. The starter went to the locker room briefly. On 3rd and 11, pressure off the corner, and nobody out there. It was in the general direction of Jaquiz Rogers as they tried to set up a screen, but the pressure blew up the play from Thomas Davis.
Thomas Davis unblocked. Tampa Bay has struggled at times tonight with these blitzes from Carolina. Bottom of your screen. Winston saw it the whole way, and that play had no chance from the beginning. And here's Ted Ginn.
Brian Anger on the punt. The dangerous Ginn back at his own 26-yard line. Ginn, fair catch. 29-yard line. 41-yard punt, no return. 1:57 to go, third quarter. Derek Anderson and the Carolina Panthers tied at 14 with the Bucs. He's 15 out of 24 tonight, and the number that stands out again, John, he doesn't turn the ball over very much. He did throw 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter, but they were in a situation where he really had to kind of force the ball down the field last weekend in Atlanta.
That's true, and that's what Derek Anderson is paid to do. He is paid well as a backup quarterback, considered by many to be one of the top backup quarterbacks in the league. This is where you earn your money. Win a critical football game without your star quarterback.
Well, he knows he probably could be a starter elsewhere, but he likes everything about the situation here, the city, the organization, his teammates, the chances of winning. He handed it off to Cameron Artis-Payne at a good gain on first down before Quan Alexander bounced him across the boundary.
Just great surge off the left side. You have to wonder about the conditioning of this Tampa Bay offensive or defensive line. Just great movement at the point of attack. That's easy. Couple rookies out there. Number 75, Devontae Lambert. 71, Channing Ward. Nobody thought we'd see them play this much this early in the season.
After a gain of 8 on first down, they stick with the run. And you're right, John, perhaps fatigue setting in that front as Artis-Payne made his way to midfield before he got taken down by Devontae Lambert and Vernon Hargraves.
I like these offensive guards, Turner and Norwell of the Panthers. They led the league in rushing for a reason. Watch this left guard, Andrew Norwell, number 68. Pull, kick out. That's a beautiful beautiful thing.
Norwell, third-year man out of Ohio State, undrafted out of Columbus, signed as a college free agent. Artis Payne, another carries up to 47 yards rushing in this quarter as he picks up 2 on what might be the last play of the quarter. They don't have to snap it again, and it doesn't look like Derek Anderson is in a hurry to do so. So the defending NFC champions, the Carolina Panthers, at 1-3 in a critical game in week 5 of the season, tied with Tampa Bay 14 apiece as we head to the fourth quarter. Monday Night Football from Charlotte. Back in Charlotte, heading to the fourth quarter. A look at tonight's QB comparison. 11 out of 19 with 149 and a touchdown for Jameis Winston. Derek Anderson in for Cam Newton, has thrown for 234. Anderson and the Panthers just across midfield. Steady dose of Cameron Artis Payne, the second-year man out of Auburn.
A lot of different kinds of running plays in this second half. Offensive coordinator Mike Shula that time dials up a draw play. We've seen toss sweeps, power plays, a lot of different formations. And on 3rd down and 4, this is going to be man-to-man. And at the top of the screen, it's Benjamin versus Hargraves. That's the matchup they've targeted the most.
You think on this 3rd down it's all about the Benjamin? He's looking in that direction, Anderson. And he takes off running, and he lost the football right as he reached the yard to make, and the Buccaneers have it. Bradley McDougald pelted it out.
Great play, great effort play by the Buccaneers, and that ball clearly out. Golston, number 92, comes from inside out. I think it's Lambert, 75.
Lambert with McDougald.
Devontae Lambert, a rookie.
Recovered the fumble. Big play by Devontae Lambert. 3rd Carolina turnover, and Tampa Bay is turnover free. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Benjamin Moore. Paint like no other. By Arby's, we have the meats. By NFL Game Pass. Replay every game this season. Go to NFL.com/Game Pass to start your free trial. And by Navy Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. Opening moment of the fourth quarter after the Carolina turnover. Winston comes out looking deep, throwing deep, and too high for Mike Evans.
Turnovers have been the deciding factor for Carolina on a negative standpoint. Last season, 39 takeaways. They were plus 20. That led the NFL. This year, not even close. 3 more tonight. They muff a punt first half. Interception on a tip pass in the middle of the field, and just now Derek Anderson coughs it up for the 3rd time. You will not win in pro football turning the ball over carelessly like Carolina.
-3 tonight against the Tampa Bay team that came in at -9 for the year, 2nd worst in the NFL. Adam Humphries, the intended receiver. It's a little bit too high for him.
Got to make that throw. 14-14 game, fourth quarter on the road. Had good protection and a great look to Humphries. Ball's just overthrown. A lot of people have questioned the down the field accuracy of Jameis Winston. He's a dynamic young talent, but he has been inaccurate at times.
Yep.
On these down the field throws.
Yep. For his career, 58%. That's 34th out of 36 qualifiers in completion percentage since he came in the league. Only Andrew Luck and Nick Foles less accurate, and now he's sacked. Back at the 30-yard line. Trade Boston on a safety blitz.
Free safety blitz, and Boston can run right through you if you're not excited about greeting them. Right off the left side of your screen, you're going to see Boston. Bottom of your screen. Great work.
Loss of 9. Brian Anger on the punt. Fair catch by Ginn. Just as he was about to catch it, a Buccaneer went right by him. And the ball rolled about an additional 10 yards. It was Josh Robinson who distracted Ginn. Didn't want to take any chances after the earlier muff punt when he collided with a teammate. 51-yard punt. Friends, so many people affected by Hurricane Matthew. If you want to help, text Matthew to 90999 to donate $10 to the American Red Cross Hurricane Relief. The NFL doing its part. Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington Redskins, sent a plane of medical supplies to Haiti. Miami Dolphins have announced a donation of $100,000 out of their foundation to help hurricane victims. Pierre Garçon, Ricky Jean-Francois, both from Haiti, Haitian descent. They're on the plane to go to Haiti with those supplies. Anderson's pass caught, very nearly underthrown, and it would have been picked off. It was just a bit shorter. Anderson shaking his head. He knows he got away with one that was closer than it needed to be. 20 yards to Olsen.
They call this a sail route here in North Carolina, and it's a corner route by Olsen, a clear route, and a flat route, 3-level throw, and they can't stop Greg Olsen.
8 catches, 170 yards for Olsen. Cameron Artis-Payne. First down across midfield. To the Tampa Bay 48-yard line. It took the safety Chris Conte to make the tackle.
Well, Carolina's got it going in a running game here in the second half. Bunch to the left, right side of your screen. They're going to toss the ball to Artis-Payne, and they crunch him to the inside. They pull left tackle Mike Remmers, and they are wearing Tampa Bay out.
Derek Anderson throws incomplete. Flag down. Not sure if the play's even going to count.
False start. Offense number 70. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
I don't think anybody heard a whistle, and I think Anderson's upset because
I would be too.
He could have gotten blasted. He did take a hit.
John Hughes crushes Anderson. So clearly a false start. I think I heard the whistle blow, and Hughes punishes Anderson. That's how people get hurt.
You could faintly hear the whistle. I'm not sure the official who threw the flag really blew the whistle with as much intensity as he intended to. 1st and 15, back on their own side of midfield. 11.5 minutes to go. Tampa Bay and Carolina tied at 14. Fozzie Whitaker through the traffic. And down at the Buccaneer 41-yard line, another tackle from the safety, Chris Conte.
Right tackle Darrell Williams is beat up. This is a trap play, and right tackle number 60, Darrell Williams, did an excellent job. Williams coming off the field now. He's injured. Number 78, Donald Hawkins, checks in. Already missing Michael Orr at left tackle, so right tackle Mike Remmers moves from right tackle to left tackle. Darrell Williams was at right tackle. Now they got a new replacement, Donald Hawkins, in. This is tough with a backup quarterback. A lot of moving parts.
Play fake. Anderson throws. Juggling catch made by Kelvin Benjamin inside the 30-yard line. The tackle by Brent Grimes.
Beautiful timing, play action pass. The fake is going to fool the underneath coverage. And Derek Anderson on time makes a beautiful throw to Benjamin. 5-step slant. Timing. impressive with a quarterback that has not played much in over a year.
21 catches this year for Benjamin, 18 for a first down. Approaching 10 minutes to go. They're in field goal range for Gano to take the lead. Anderson on target again to Olsen.
And his right tackle, Darrell Williams, came off the bench to protect him. And Greg Olsen against McDougal with a little hesitation. He has a knack for getting position and running routes from anywhere on the field. He's not the biggest tight end. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest. But you might say he's the best going right now.
Career high in receiving yards. 181 for Olsen on 9 catches. They fake the reverse. Fozzie Whitaker inside the 10. Lunging for the goal line. Came up just short. They're going to mark him a yard and a half shy of the end zone.
Just a beautiful design play. A lot of misdirection, and Tampa can't find the ball. Fozzie Whitaker just shy of the goal line. Well, Whitaker, whenever he's asked to play, he plays well. He can pick up blitzes, he can run the ball, and he can certainly catch it. First and goal.
Cameron Artis-Payne back in there. He's had a career high in rushing yards tonight. They fake it to him. It's intercepted. Terrible decision by Derek Anderson. Brent Grimes picked it off.
I can't believe he threw that football. First and goal in a 14-14 game. He clearly forces the ball to Olsen. And guess who? Grimes.
Well, the last 2 possessions for the Carolina Panthers have ended with turnovers by Derek Anderson. He lost a fumble on a run when he was going for a first down, and now he throws an interception in the end zone. Intended for Olsen, was double covered. He's turned it over 3 times tonight. Carolina's -4 against Dirk Cutter's Buccaneers. He's not happy, as they need to use a timeout before they even snap the first play of this possession.
Take a look at this interception. I mean, it's first and goal at the 2, but watch how high Grimes gets off the ground. This kid has one unbelievable vertical jump. We asked Mike Smith, the defense coordinator, about the size matchups. He goes, I'm not worried about Grimes because he plays big. He's got about a 48-inch vertical. Been to the Pro Bowl as a Falcon, been to the Pro Bowl as a Dolphin, and at 33, he's still going strong.
Quiz Rogers back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Coney Ely made the tackle.
Cosner Sherrillis has struggled tonight as an extra tight end. That time Ely crossed his face with ease. It's going to come down to Winston and his throwing arm. Here comes Vincent Jackson. NFC South rivalry. A lot at stake tonight. Both teams 1-3. Desperation kicking in.
Tampa Bay's finished last in this division each of the last 5 years. Carolina's won it the last 3. Winston throws low, but a catch made by Mike Evans for a first down.
They'll complete that all day. That's too easy. Off coverage, I call it free access. And Evans running it like he does in routes versus air. No contest. First down, Tampa.
Midway through the 4th quarter in a tied game. Nice cut by Quiz Rogers. A hard-earned yard. Paul Soliai made the tackle for the Panthers.
A lot of backup players playing for Carolina. Haven't seen K'Wan Short much tonight. He's still on the sidelines. Number 99 in a contract season. Paul Soliai. LeVar Edwards out there playing. That's your money man right there. They need him at closing time.
On 2nd and 8, Winston caught Evans to midfield for another first down.
He's a big receiver. There's no one near Winston, and it's too easy. Just a simple play action pass. You hold the underneath coverage, and it's a deep square in. And when Jameis Winston can finish on that front foot, it's just too easy. 27. Robert McLean, a backup corner, just keeping it in front of him.
16-yard gain on the 5th catch of the night for Evans. Winston takes the check down. Jacquizz Rodgers dropped at the 47-yard line of the Panthers by Shaq Thompson.
Finally, here come the rushers for Carolina. Johnson, 95. Addison, 97. And short number 99. Somebody's got to get near Jameis Winston, and I credit this young offensive line of the Buccaneers. They were manhandled last week by Denver, but they have really answered the bell tonight.
They gave up 5 sacks last week, but they played from behind the entire game. Fell behind in the first 2 minutes of the game against the Broncos. Jacquizz Rodgers. What a night he's had. Contact very late, and they throw the flag. And this is going to be 15 more, I believe, against the Panthers.
Oh, Gosner Sherrills came flying out of the pile when you see a 330-pounder.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 56, the late hit. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down, Tampa.
See a man that big fly out of the pile. Something happened. And A.J. Klein, veteran linebacker, with a ridiculous penalty, really.
And that's way after the play is over. And Sherrills,
he should be ejected for that.
Yeah, Sherrills might have been a drama major at Boston College, because I doubt, as you said, a guy 316 pounds would fly like that on a hit like that. 3 yards on the play, 15 more on the penalty. Rodgers gang tackled as he crossed the line of scrimmage. And now, John, you think about the field goal. I mean, we're under 5 minutes to go. A field goal gives you the lead, and you have a kicker you really can't count on.
No, Dirk Cutter is thinking just like you. He's thinking touchdown all the way. His defense is running out of steam. He's played a lot of backup players tonight. Keep an eye on Evans at the bottom of the screen. He's feeling it right now.
Under 4.5 to go. On 2nd and 9. The pump fake and almost an interception. Tried to get it to Evans, and Kurt Coleman had a great shot at it.
So we talked about in the pregame. Winston cannot throw this ball. It's covered too. The safety's over the top. Don't throw this ball. Should be intercepted. Coleman had 7 last year. Should have had an easy one right here. That's a bad decision by Jameis. He got away with one. 3rd and long. Can't do that. Here they come. Pressure look by Carolina.
Jameis just 1 out of 7 on 3rd down tonight. They need 9. They call a running play, and that didn't fool the Panthers. Jacquizz Rodgers lost a yard. And now here comes Aguayo in desperate need of a confidence booster, and this would be a huge make to give them the lead with under 4 minutes to go.
I think Coach Cutter lost confidence in Winston after he forced the ball into a double zone. He said, you know what, let's run it, and kick the field goal. But as you stated perfectly, this is no gimme.
2 for 3 tonight. And this is his longest try of the night, the 46-yarder. And he hooked it. My goodness.
Can't tolerate this for very long.
Second-round pick. Off to a very tough start in the NFL.
Welcome back to Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, where we are still tied at 14 apiece after Tampa Bay's kicker Roberto Aguayo has missed another field goal, the second of the night, this one from 46 yards. I spoke to Dirk Cutter at halftime and said, Coach, this could come down to a field goal. Have you said anything to your kicker? And Cutter said to me, I haven't said anything to him. I'm not going to say anything to him. He should know what he's doing. And he added, he probably wouldn't like what I had to say anyway. Sean?
All right, Lisa, I think you have to put some of that on the coach, though. We'll get back to that in a moment. First down for Carolina. And, John, to me, that 3rd down and 9 play call by Dirk Cutter was almost a give-up. You said it. It reflects a lack of confidence in Jameis Winston.
Well, Sean, he
put
almost
it on the kicker, who's been shaky.
Well, Jameis threw the ball right into cover 2, right into a double zone. It should have been intercepted, and part of me can't fault Cutter for being nervous. But you are right. You got to keep the ball in Winston's hands. Don't put it on the foot of a rookie kicker who's struggling.
Chance of making 9 yards on that handoff to Quiz Rogers was very slim. Cameron Artis-Payne comes up short of the first down.
On 2nd down, you throw the ball right into cover 2, and the head coach gets nervous. So on 3rd down and long, you call it a give-up play, you're probably right. But you turn the game over to a kicker who's clearly not ready for prime time, and it backfires on Tampa.
Well, you're Dirk Cutter. You said part of my job is to change the culture. And then you call a play that really wouldn't reflect that you have much confidence in your team executing at that time. Approaching the 2-minute warning. And on 3rd down, they don't make it. Cameron Artis-Payne stuffed by William Golston.
Give this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense credit. A bunch of backups, and for the 2nd time tonight, they stuffed Carolina in short yardage.
Carolina 1 for 8 on 3rd down. They certainly don't resemble the NFC champions of a year ago right now.
At the 2-minute warning here in Charlotte. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Levy coming up on the GMC postgame report. The fellas will join me on the field. We'll break it down on SportsCenter at night with Scott Van Pelt. Put a wrap on David Ortiz's outstanding career. And who's the best starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys when everybody's healthy? That's an SVP's one big thing. Sean John, bring us home.
All right, thank you. This has turned into a very entertaining game here. It hasn't been pretty, but it has been competitive, to say the least. On 4th down and 3, Andy Lee the punt. Buccaneers get away from it. They'll start at the 14-yard line. Well, John, when we started this weekend, 3-1-3 teams in the NFC South looking up at the Atlanta Falcons, who are 3-1. I think these teams are probably thinking, well, they're going to go to Denver and lose. They'll be 3-2. If we win, we're 2-3. We're only 1 game out. Now they have to be concerned about this distance because the Falcons look legit.
Yeah, there's a lot of football left to be played. The only team to beat Atlanta is Tampa.
Right.
There's a lot of football left to be played, but neither one of these teams have played well enough tonight to deserve a win, but somebody's going to get one here in dramatic fashion.
How will they play it? Deep in their own territory. They start on the ground with Quiz Rogers. Coney Ely makes the tackle.
Do you
Carolina has all 3 timeouts left.
Do you take one?
I believe they did.
That's showing confidence in your defense. Ron Rivera quickly takes a timeout. It's going to be 2nd down and long, and can they find their pass rush? Coney Ely out there, who had 3 sacks in the Super Bowl, has none this year. K'Wan Short, just 1 sack. He had 11 last year.
Well, teams that make it to the Super Bowl and lose don't go back. You wonder about complacency. Ron Rivera said it was a concern. Skycam brought to you tonight by American Express. 2nd and 10. On the ground again with Rogers. Wrestled to the boundary by Luke Kuechly, and they stop the clock. So Carolina does not need to use its 2nd timeout. It'll be 3rd down for Tampa Bay and about 8.
Unbelievable. You're going to run the ball and try to run the clock, and you get out of bounds and stop it for Carolina. 3rd down and 8. Got to be alert for a screen if you're Carolina. Rodgers, a very good screening back, and Humphries, a man they like to use on the perimeter with quick screens, is not in the game.
10 tackles tonight for Luke Kuechly. Out of Boston College, where he's going to have his number retired in a couple of weeks.
We have received a medical timeout. Number 68 for Tampa Bay is required to go out of the game for one play.
Joe Hawley, who came back from an early scare, just very surprised that Tampa got the ball on first down with their timeouts left and has run the ball twice.
Well, this situation, the medical personnel on hand or one of the officials on the field must have thought that there's the possibility there of a concussion. So he goes to the sideline. Evan Smith comes back in. Hawley left the game for a little bit earlier.
It's got to be Evans at the top of the screen. He's the only receiver in the game for Tampa in the 2-minute drill.
Officials have stopped the clock. Might be an issue with the play clock. Ron Rivera's defense is on to Jaquiz Rodgers. His last 14 carries have gone for 22 yards.
The game clock is correct. Please put 10 seconds on the play clock. 10 seconds. What? Just wait. You're okay. You're okay. Here we go.
$14 apiece, a minute 42 to go. 3rd down and 7 for Jameis Winston and the Bucs. And now a timeout called by Dirk Cutter, leaving Tampa Bay with 1. He is the play caller. He was the offensive coordinator last year, his first season in Tampa Bay. They made a big improvement on offense. Went from 30th in the league to total offense to 5th. The Buccaneers were afraid they might lose him to another team as a head coach. That was a big reason why they decided to let go of Lovie Smith and promote Dirk Cutter. They liked the work that he did with Jameis Winston in year 1 together.
Well, they've got one receiver in the game, and that's Mike Evans. He's at the top of the screen.
They do throw it on 3rd and 7, and Evans has it. First down, 28-yard line. Now will Tampa Bay pick up the pace?
Here comes their wideouts, Vincent Jackson and Humphries. Unbelievable that there's one receiver in the game and you don't cover Mike Evans on an outside breaking route on 3rd and 8 in a 2-minute drill. Unbelievable.
11-yard gain. 1:20 to go. 1 timeout left for the Buccaneers, and the pass too high for Cameron Brate.
2nd down and 10. Carolina has had success blitzing the perimeter. Trey Boston has a sack. Number 27, Robert McClain, has a sack. Dirk Cutter can't bear the thought of it, but Aguayo is a long-range field goal kicker. Wouldn't it be something if he got another chance?
And another chance at redemption. They're a long way to go yet to get to field goal range. He has a big leg. Draw, Jaquiz Rodgers. Taken down at the 34-yard line by LeVar Edwards.
Another timeout. Very conservative play calling, and Ron Rivera takes another timeout.
Yeah, that's interesting. He has faith in his defense to stop the Buccaneers right here and wants the ball back. 1:09 to go. Tampa Bay and Carolina tied at 14. The Bucs 3rd down and 4 from their own 34. 4-man rush at Jameis Winston. The check down. Jaquiz Rodgers has the first down and more to the 42-yard line. 1 minute to go. 1st and 10, Tampa Bay.
Great work by Jameis getting to his check down, and Rodgers has done it all night, rallying for the first down.
They needed 4. They got 8. Again, a 4-man rush. Again, time for Winston. Again, a completion. This one to Vincent Jackson across midfield to the Carolina 45.
Ron Rivera probably wondering if he should have used that timeout now. The young quarterback Two beautiful strikes to the outside. One to Evans on third down. That one, a bullet to Vincent Jackson. Gonna have to blitz pretty soon if you're Carolina.
Jackson.
They brought it. That time they picked McClain up. He blitzed off the left side. Tampa Bay read it. Tampa Bay wasting time here.
Yep. This would be a 56-yard field goal. The clock is stopped.
Oh.
I think they're trying to determine if he was out of bounds. No, he was clearly in bounds.
This is not good officiating
The receiver
here.
went out of bounds. There were 41 seconds on the game clock. Please put 41 seconds on the game clock.
Well, he wasn't out of bounds. That should have been in bounds and the clock running.
Wow. It's like giving Tampa an extra timeout.
2nd and 5. Inside handoff. Jaquiz Rogers. First down. They're in field goal range. And wouldn't you know that it's likely to come down to Aguayo again. John, if you're Roberto Aguayo, do you think he wants this chance?
I hope so. I certainly hope so. Everybody's encouraging him. He's been a great kicker. This is what you sign up for. Penalty.
Well, flag down. This could make it a much shorter field goal if it's against Carolina. The way Rogers' face twisted around, you might think it was a face mask.
Personal foul. Grabbing the face mask. Defense. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of one.
Boy.
First down, Tampa.
Instead of about a 50-yard try for Aguayo, it's going to be a lot shorter.
Going to Ely. 94. A good call, and we've seen more mistakes in critical moments tonight than I can remember in a football game. And Aguayo waits. I'd center the ball wherever he wants it. You want it on the right hash, the middle of the field, left hash, I'll put it wherever you want it. Just get me out of here with a win. What they're doing.
Well, they want it on the right hash mark. And Tampa Bay will use the timeout. Then you would think Ron Rivera will probably use his to try to freeze Aguayo, one of the great kickers in the history of college football, the most accurate kicker in the history of the NCAA.
And he might be kicking for his NFL career right here.
First team All-American all 3 years at Florida State. He came out a year early. The only other Seminole to do that was Deion Sanders. 69 out of 78 for 88%. And then you add that he never missed a PAT, 198 for 198. They went up to use a second-round pick to get him. It's the 5th kicker in the last 30 drafts picked in the 1st or 2nd round.
He's got to get this ball off. This get-off time is not good either tonight. Can Carolina block it?
38-yarder. Will Ron Rivera use the timeout? Yes. Andrew DePaula, experienced snapper in his 3rd year. Brian Anger is the holder. Aguayo, as an NFL field goal kicker, is now 3 for 7. He's 2 for 4 tonight.
These NFL goalposts a lot tighter than they are in the NC2A. It's a different football. these Buccaneers.
Well, they're in need of a culture-changing win. Dirk Cutter said we need to change the culture. How do we do that? We win. He said the Panthers are the model for what the Buccaneers would like to become. For the win from 38 yards, Aguayo right down the middle.
What a win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They come to town and knock out the defending champs. What a gut check by Aguayo in this football team.
And the defending NFC champions now 1-4. Roberto Aguayo, good for him. I mean, if you're cheering for the Panthers, you're upset. I think those who are neutral, if you have a heart, had to feel good that that young man made it. And maybe that is the kind of win that turns this thing around for Cutter, Winston, and the Bucs. One of the great things about sports, so often the champs for redemption. Here's Lisa Salters.
Thank you, Sean. Roberto, what did it mean for you to watch that one go through the uprights?
Oh, it meant the world. I mean, you know, with the way the game played out, you know, there was a couple kicks, too, that I missed. I mean, especially that one, that was a hard one to come back and get it through. But at the end of the day, you got to go back and go to fundamentals. I hit that field goal that I missed here. I hit it well. It just came up to the left. And you just got to go back and trust yourself and go do it.
What were you thinking right before you kicked it?
Just hit it. Just hit it the way I've been hitting into the net. Just hit it smooth. It's nothing different.
Now, what were your teammates saying to you? Because, like you said, it's been a tough night for you, a tough season so far, really.
Definitely, you know, the team has my back all the way. That's what I love. You know, you miss one, you know, they got your back. It's just like anyone else, you know, when they do bad, I go up and pat them. This is what the game is. It doesn't end till the last, I guess, play, you could say. So it's all about sticking it in and focusing and doing what you got to do. Obviously, you know, I wish I would have had those two back, but at the end of the day, I made the one that counted, so got to move on.
Thank you. Congratulations to you. Sean, back to you.
Well, it's a night he'll never forget. Roberto Aguayo, too good to continue to struggle. And he was great for 3 years in college. You don't use a second-round pick on a kicker unless you know he's great. So many times it's between the ears of these kickers. Confidence booster for the young man and a huge win for the Tampa Bay Bucs. Stay tuned for the GMC postgame on SportsCenter. We'll be back in a moment for the Gruden Grinder. Thanks for watching Monday Night Football.